Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining me for this WNCT Now Digital News Update. I'm Emily Severidge, live in our digital studio. We are continuing with our election headquarters here at WNCT, continuing to track these polls for you guys, and we're in day 2 of counting the votes for the presidential election, but neither former Vice President Joe Biden nor President Donald Trump has the needed 270 electoral votes to win. And there's still some states to watch right now. We're going to go ahead and check out our website over here that we have going on. This is our WNCT website. Now, here's our local election headquarters 2020 election results. If you head to our webpage, you can find this on the front of the webpage. It's the very first story. So looking at this, President Trump won the prized battleground state of Florida, while former Vice President Joe Biden flipped Arizona last night. Excuse me. Both candidates are focusing their attention right now on Michigan and Pennsylvania. This afternoon, Wisconsin went to Biden, giving him an extra 10 electoral vote boost. This victory puts Biden 22 electoral votes short of a victory, while President Trump still needs another 56. The Trump campaign is asking for a recount in Wisconsin, where Biden leads by just over half a percentage point. And Wisconsin's count isn't the only concern the president's re-election push has. His campaign says it's filing a lawsuit to stop the count in Michigan. The latest numbers from the Mitten State gave Biden a small lead, but the race is still too early to call. President Trump's lawsuit claims his campaign has not been given meaningful access to counting locations to monitor the opening of ballots and the counting process, things that are guaranteed by Michigan law. He says a suit was filed in the Michigan Court of Claims to stop counting until the campaign gets meaningful access. And we have breaking news now as well. The president's campaign is now saying it's also going to be suing to put a temporary stop to the vote counts in Pennsylvania, claiming a lack of transparency there as well. Trump's deputy campaign manager said in a statement today that the campaign is suing to stop Democratic election officials from hiding the ballot counting and processing from our Republican poll observers. He says the campaign wants to temporarily halt counting until there is meaningful transparency and the Republicans can ensure all counting is done above board and by the law. So right now, they are still contesting Pennsylvania as well. But the president and Joe Biden aren't the only two waiting on each other and every ballot to be counted. Democratic candidate Cal Cunningham is waiting for all votes to be counted in North Carolina before deciding his next step. Republican incumbent Tom Tillis already declared his victory earlier this morning. He calls his win stunning and against all odds. Polls had Tillis slightly behind Cunningham in the weeks leading up to the election, but midday today, Tillis held a 97,000 vote lead over Cunningham. North Carolina GOP Chairman Michael Whatley says once all provisional and absentee ballots are cleared, they do expect Tillis to be declared winner. Well, stay with us, and we'll be right back with some more news after this short little break. All right, we are back. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just tuning in, I'm Emily Severidge, live in our digital studio, bringing you some late afternoon updates and continuing our election coverage here at WNCT. The Associated Press is calling another important race in North Carolina. This one makes history. Republican newcomer Mark Robinson will be our state's first black lieutenant governor, defeating state representative Yvonne Hawley. Robinson led Hawley 51.6% to 48.4% for his Democratic opponent. North Carolina is setting another record in this year's election with one of the youngest people in history to serve in Congress. 25-year-old Republican Madison Cawthorn is selected to represent a U.S. House district in our state. Cawthorn bested Air Force veteran and Democrat Mo Davis. Cawthorn will represent the 11th Congressional District, a seat vacated by fellow Republican Mark Meadows, who is now President Trump's White House Chief of Staff. Cawthorn is a real estate agent, and he just turned 25 in August, which is just meeting the minimum age to be elected as a House seat. A car accident in 2014 left him partially paralyzed. Cawthorn first drew attention in June, securing a surprising win over Linda Ennett, a GOP primary runoff. Cawthorn considers himself a highly conservative on issues including abortion and racial justice. Well, that wraps up this late afternoon WNCT Now update. I'm Emily Severidge, live in our digital studio, and we have more news coming up for you tonight on our broadcast at 5 and 6. Stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for watching.